Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Brothers War podcast. I'm Ryan Green.
And I'm Zack Taylor. And we talk about all things magic, but mostly MF'in.
Oh, yeah, and that stands for MagicFest, because that's where we were this weekend.
It was.
And we are going to record an episode all about the happenings of MagicFest Los Angeles and bring it to you here
On the Brothers War podcast.
Absolutely. All right. So this is a big shout out to you listeners out there and also viewers, right? Because sometimes you listen with your eye holes, right?
Get it in your retinas.
And so hopefully that's what you're doing. So this video is on YouTube as well. Or hopefully, I think we got there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But yeah, so welcome and hopefully you're enjoying it. And if you are, please let us know. But also just thank you for watching and listening. We really, really appreciate it. We are doing the show for you.
Yep.
And that's how we do. Okay, So up next, we've got your hashtag MTG dad moment. This one's for my son, Mal. He is really close to walking. He is like this close. He's taken some steps here and there, you know. He can actually go from sitting to like standing in the middle of the room. He doesn't need like a wall to push himself up on. So Mal, you're doing it awesome. And there was a moment just today when I was in the kitchen making dinner, and Mal wheeled this toy shopping cart over to the fence, the gate fence here, into the danger zone, and he got up in it, and he was like standing in it, like grabbing onto the fence, and it was like terrifying, but also just like, wow, he can do it, right?
Yeah,
so
he's innovating.
And it's scary, but yeah, all right, so that one goes out to you, Mal. All right, so Zach, why don't you take this next section?
Well, it's not an episode of the Brothers War podcast if we're not thanking Mr. Mike Condon. He's always doing the audio bits and being a general sounding board and idea contributor to everything. And we definitely could not do it without you, Mike. So thank you.
All right, so that's going to move us right on into the main topic because we've got a lot to cover here today. The Magic Fest was amazing. I want to give a quick shout out to Phil and the Commandering guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for letting us have a place to stay while we were out there. It was so fun to get to bond with you, and
absolutely,
and you really made it happen. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so we're going to go down in chronological order?
I believe so.
All right, so Friday.
6 a.m. I woke up. As the earliest I had woken up in years. Get up, took a shower, showed up at Ryan's house. We left about, 7:30 to get to the airport. Got on the airplane. And then we flew to California.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what we did.
Right. And then time travel happened, and we suddenly were 2 hours behind where we left.
Yeah, something like that. And Phil picked us up from the airport, and that was really cool.
It was.
And then we went and dropped all of our stuff off at Phil's house. And
actually, what did we do before we went to Phil's house?
Oh, that's right. Juanito's Burritos. Man, that was a good burrito, too.
It was, man. Like, I'm having withdrawals. I need those burritos.
Spoiler alert, we are going to revisit those burritos later in the episode.
Yep. Would it be every day except for the last day? Maybe.
All right. Okay. So we made it to the convention center.
Yep.
And this one's all you, man. Let's go down the list here of the things that we got signed.
So that was a big draw for me. I've never actually had Magic cards signed by the artists, and it meant a lot to me just because some of the cards I had signed, the art is just I grew up with, right? Like, first off, Mark Poole was there, and I had him sign my Counterspell and my Howling Mine. Super awesome. Love those cards. Next, RK Post. Love him. Bought some tokens, but also had my Icarid signed. My Tide Hollow Sculler signed.
Hello.
I had my foil Teferi's Moat signed, which I love this card so much. And then my Fairy Macabre. Great card. I also had another favorite card of mine, Time Warp, signed by Mr. Pete Venters. Also got him to sign a couple of Phyrexian Arenas.
Oh, yeah. If you're playing black, don't leave home without that Phyrexian Arena.
Right.
Excellent choice.
And then I had Thomas Baxter sign my playset of Terminates.
Man, those Terminates are so sweet looking.
They
like
are.
The full art stuff. Oh, man, it's beautiful.
It's great until you have to read the text and be like, what does this do? And I'm like, what does Terminate do?
Destroy target creature.
Or artifact?
Nope, just creature.
A funny story. I was going through all my cards to get signed, and I was like, man, there's a bunch of Mark Teaton cards I'd love to get signed. I wish Mark Teaton was going to be there. So I get there, and I'm getting my cards signed, and I was like, wait, what's this extra booth? What? Mark Teaton's there. I was like, oh my goodness. So I was like,
oh, look, you got one.
Right? I was like, man. So I started going through all my cards, and I was like, I'm going to have to get this Soul Ring signed. I've got my Mana Vault signed. I got my Necropotent signed. This is going to go in the Fey deck. I'm super excited about it.
Oh, and we have to tell a quick little story about the Necropotents, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so Zack didn't have a Necropotents on him, and we couldn't find one at the vendors either, right?
Right.
And so a little bit later, spoiler, we went to Frankenson.
Yep.
Which is kind of like it's this place in LA it's like a giant like swap meet kind of thing for pretty much any kind of collectible of any sort. And Zack was able to find one there. So
that was sweet.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And then when Ryan and I were looking around on the vendor Sunday, we found an Urtai the Corrupted in foil that we got Mr. Teaton to sign. And I got
look at that signature.
I know
too.
it's great. It's the dual color signature with the gold and black. Definitely going to be working on updating my Urtai deck because it's going to be my signature deck.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Urtai is your boy.
He is,
and Esper is your shard.
It is. What about you, Ryan? What'd you get signed?
Just a couple ones here. I'm going to start off with this one by Howard Lyon. This is Reality Shift. It's a foily there, and once again, got that shadow signature going on, and it looks amazing. Can't wait to exile some people's creatures and let them manifest with this puppy here. And then I think this is the belle of the ball for me. I'm going to pull it out of the sleeve just because, it looks so nice.
It's amazing.
So Howard Lyon does this thing that's really cool. He takes like it
was like an airbrush, and it was a cool airbrush. Like my airbrush, you got to put paint in. It's like his airbrush, you just put a pin in, and he just airbrushes it, and it was cool. Like we watched him do it, and I was just like, man, that is amazing.
Yeah, and so you can see like the purple down here at the bottom and like a little orange at the top and stuff, and it's all foily, and got the shadow signature there. And I showed it to people all throughout the weekend, and everybody's jaw just kind of dropped.
Just lost it.
And I mean, it's really pretty. It's like my precious.
Right. So for those of you who are listening to the audio version of this, we'll be putting pictures of these into the show notes. And then also for the viewers, we'll be adding the images into the video so you can get a little better look at the cards we're showing you.
Pop-up magic cards.
Yes, got there. Dude, I used to love watching that on VH1. So after that, we went to the Dragon and Meeple where Mr. Philly D and Shivam were having a Commander-in event.
Oh man, it was sweet.
It was so good. But when things were kind of getting set up and whatnot before things started, Ryan and I had to duck out and get some dinner. The blood sugar was getting low, and
but by that point it was like the burrito had worn off, and we needed some grub.
So that was pretty cool. We picked up some dinner from Shivam and Phil too, since they were kind enough to be organizing the event. And then who do we run into at the Poke place?
The Commander's Brew guys, Andy and Sean. Yeah,
sure did. So that was cool getting to talk to them there and hang out. So, after that, we walked back to the Dragon and Meeple. We had dinner with them, and then we ended up playing a game. So, Ryan, I think you were the belle of the ball at that game.
Oh, we're belle of the balling twice this episode.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that game was awesome. It was so much fun. And it was the very first run of my new Vile Smasher and Thrasios partner, Everything But White deck. And man, it was good.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe a little too good.
Possibly.
So basically, for the listeners, I'll lay it out here. So I got Thrasios down early. I had Training Grounds, which reduces the cost of the ability to 2. And then I had Victory Chimes, which gets to untap during every other player's turn, and it's a mana rock. So basically for 1 mana, I was like scrying 1 and then revealing the top card of my library. And if it was in fact a land, I got to put it in play. and that snowballed real quickly. I had a ton of mana in play, and I cast Praetor's Council, which is that green card that lets you return your graveyard to your hand, and then you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. And I did it just because I didn't have the Reliquary Tower, and I did not want to discard my cards. So yeah, I returned like 3 cards with it, and like one of them was a land. But yeah, it just got out of hand real quick. But I don't know, it was really fun. Those guys are awesome to play with.
Yeah, it was great. And then after we played that game, Ryan got into another game, and I was like, I'm going to be industrious and try to get some interviews. We have a little portable recorder, and so I got some interviews. So we'll kind of introduce them here, and then you'll hear that audio, and we'll have a little graphic on the video. But the first guy we spoke with was Jeremy. Jeremy is recording data on, like, his personal data on games. He would ask, what game, like, what commanders are you playing, who won that game, etc.
Yeah, it was really cool to see him like go around with that notebook and just kind of like asking people about their games and really kind of like engaging with everyone there.
It was great.
It was really neat.
Yeah. What's up? This is Zack with Brothers War. I'm in LA for the MagicFest, and I'm here with Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy.
And Jeremy's been going around kind of taking notes on what people are playing for their commanders and who's winning and all that. And can you tell us some more about that, man?
Yeah, so it all started, I went to my first GP in Sacramento last year in July, and it started out just, wanting to, get memories, what I'm playing, meeting people, talking about their decks. And over the time, I went to several other GPs, Los Angeles last year, Oakland, and now Los Angeles today. And, where there's resources like EDH Rec, and,
Right.
I like to go on MTG Salvation, the forums there, I love that. But, there's another thing, like, there's not a lot of tournament reporting in Commander.
There's really not.
And, it is a social format, and it's not very serious. But at the same time, there's one thing of seeing, what decks people make online, and then there's another thing of what decks are people bringing to the table.
Right, absolutely.
And I just like to know, what decks are playing, what decks are winning.
Right.
And, just try to get an insight on commanders that I never even played against or, played with before.
That's awesome. And do you play Commander yourself?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So, what's your favorite Commander?
So, I got the 2012 Precon, the first Precon.
Okay.
I got Damia Sage of Stone, his Sultai colors.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it came with Mimoplasm and Damia, and I just fell in love with her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, like, from your research, like, what seems to be doing the best right now? What are you seeing?
Let's see here. So, it's funny because, you run into, the CDH group,
Right.
CDH group.
Right.
I love them.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like some people, there's kind of a negative connotation for CDH, and there really shouldn't be. It's just a different level of playing. It's a different style of playing, and there's nothing wrong with it, but sometimes I think I see CDH players and casual players sometimes get mixed into groups, and, one's not expecting the other, and that's why when we sit down, we're always like, well, what power level are we playing
Exactly.
with? Trying to even
It's
out.
always good to talk beforehand. But
For
yeah,
sure.
some decks I see, it's just I see some recurring ones. I see some partner commanders.
Right.
I see a lot of Thrasios partnered with, whoever.
Right.
I see Muldrotha a lot.
Yeah.
I see Edgar a lot. I see Giora, Weatherlight Captain a lot. And, the list goes on. Gitrog Monster.
Right.
And I just it's just funny because, everyone has their own version on their deck too.
Right,
And so,
right.
I see, you're playing Gitrog Monster. So you're playing Dakmor Salvage, you're doing all the dredge and drawn cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have a little variation on it, but I just like to just be able to look back, and it just helps me reflect on,
That's awesome, man.
Weekend.
Like, I think it's cool to, be able to do that, to look back and, on these memories and, like, what you've seen. So do you plan on doing anything with this data? Are you going to, like, have a website or something maybe? Or?
I don't have a website, but, I follow a couple of groups on, Facebook mostly.
Okay.
So, I'll post a little bit about it about a week after, sometimes. I could always, post comments on other podcasts such as yourself, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I just give a little, just a little tournament report, just a little, just some data on how, the Commander format's doing.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me, and I'll get your information, your Twitter, if you do that and whatnot, and hopefully we'll hear more from you soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being on, man. The next person that I spoke to was Jimmy. He was there was kind of a Commander tournament going on. It was a casual thing. I honestly I don't exactly understand how that worked. I didn't get involved in that, but Jimmy was playing a pretty cool deck, and I got to talk with him a little bit. So you'll hear that.
And Jimmy is a longtime listener to the show, and I've met him at multiple GPs. So shout out Jimmy,
right? And like he had Infect in his deck, and like I love me some Infect. I'm sorry, Phil, I know you don't like it, but Infect is my jam. When I played Modern, I jammed Infect, so that was cool. What's up? This is Zack with Brothers War, and I'm here with Jimmy, sorry. No problem. My bad. Let me redo that. This is Zack with Brothers War, and I'm here with Jimmy. He's playing in the Commander event here. And how's it been going?
It's pretty awesome. I love these type of casual events. It's just a blast to meet people and play Commander, a game I love.
That's awesome, man. What'd you play tonight?
So I played Borigomos Enraged.
Okay.
So when he's 7/6 trample for 2 red, 2 green, and 4 colorless. When he deals combat damage to a player, draw 3 cards. Any lands that you draw, put in your hand, the rest go into the graveyard.
Okay.
And you can discard a land from your hand to lightning bolt stuff.
Okay, that seems legit.
So in our Commander pod, there was an Amanatu, a Mariki Reveret, and a Zack Dragonclaw.
Okay.
So the Amanatu player got off to a pretty dominant start, was getting a couple planeswalkers and card advantage, bouncing new perspectives over and over to just. So we kind of teamed up and knocked him out of the game because of that.
Okay.
I wasn't really doing anything for most of the game because I basically was trying to get a bunch of lands in play and eventually get to the point where I could cast my Commander and put a grafted exoskeleton on him at the same time.
Okay.
But I also had a gratuitous violence in the deck and got it into play. So every land I discarded was 6 damage as opposed to 3.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
So I got Borborygomos in play, put the grafted exoskeleton on him, and was able to do 6 infect to the other 2 players, the Mariki Rivera player and the Zack player, but it just wasn't enough. They eventually stabilized, made me sack some lands because I had a Zurin Orb in play just to stay alive.
Okay.
And I had cast Borigomos so many times I couldn't recast him anymore.
Okay, yeah.
I was kind of out of plays at that point.
Awesome. I saw the Infect token there, and I was going to ask you about that, but it sounds like you were doing all the Infect,
I was doing all the Infect.
I definitely appreciate it. I like Infect.
Yeah.
That's sweet, man.
It's fun. And so one of the ways in the deck that really surprises people is if you have the grafted exoskeleton on Borborygomos and you have the Zurin Orb in play.
Okay.
You can use either Splendid Reclamation to gain a ton of life and just put your land right back in play.
Oh.
Or you can use Creeping Renaissance.
Gotcha.
And you choose a permanent type, and all those cards from your graveyard go back to your hand. So you sack them all with the Zurin Orb.
Oh my goodness.
Pick up all your land, and then just deal them out to everyone.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so it's a fun deck. People seem to enjoy it, and all the cards in the deck are under $1, so I play it unsleeved.
Yeah, I walked by and saw that, and I was like, that's hardcore. Like, I won't even do that, so that's cool, man. Are you here all weekend?
Yeah, I live in Thousand Oaks, not too far from here.
Okay.
So,
everyone, right?
yeah, be hanging out. And
Sweet.
No.
Well, hopefully we can get a game in tomorrow or something, man.
Definitely.
Cool. Next, we spoke with Chris, who was the proprietor of the Dragon and Meeple, which it was great. He's a great guy. Like, it was awesome of him to open up his restaurant gaming center, several days early before their real opening to host this event. It was great, and I don't think he was making any money off it. They didn't have any food or licensed. So they were selling sodas and stuff, but he just opened it up and like it was great. He did a sale on some regular games.
Yeah, and there was a raffle with tickets and stuff.
Yep. So he was like, yeah, you got a ticket for coming, and then if you like tweeted about him or something, you got an extra ticket, and that was really generous of him. So here's kind of what he had to say. Hey, what's up? This is Zack with the Brothers Word Podcast. I'm here with Chris Buskirk. He's hosting Phil's Commander Night tonight, and we're in his awesome space. It's really cool, man. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming out. I am blown away by the number of people that showed up. It's been an amazing night.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Like it's a packed house, and hopefully next week when y'all open for full time, it'll be even more packed.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do in the next week, but we're confident we can make an amazing space for people to game in here in LA.
Yeah, no, it looks sweet. Like it just like it has a really cool feel to it, and I like how you're gonna have like the kitchen and the bar and all that, and it just seems like a cool place to chill.
Yeah, I had an amazing team. It kind of built up over time, just friends of friends. A lot of this design is mine, but we had an amazing designer, Cynthia, and she toned back some of my bad ideas.
Right.
Maybe go in this direction, Chris.
Right. It's that gentle guidance.
Gentle guidance, and it turned out great.
That's awesome. And you were telling me before we started recording, your business partner is Alex Toon from Austin. He's or I don't think he judges anymore, but he did, right?
Yeah.
So
he's a level 2 judge. He's a big time Magic player.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
It.
Yeah, that's awesome. Since we're from Austin, it's just like a cool coincidence. It really shows how like the community is really kind of a small world in a good way.
Yeah, and that's what we're all about, is the community and growing that and connecting with other gamers here in LA and farther apart.
Right.
And we're 2 miles down from the convention center, which a lot of people came down here for the Grand Prix, and
yep.
We're hoping to draw a nice crowd of locals and out-of-towners.
Cool, man. Well,
especially with the Lucas Museum opening up.
What is that? I don't know.
The George Lucas Museum of Narrative Arts.
Oh. I'll have to come back to LA for that.
Lots of our people coming there.
Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty interested. Like, this is my first time in LA, and so I don't really know what's what. Yeah. But I'll definitely be stopping by here if I come back, or when I come back, hopefully. So thanks for taking the time, man.
Thank you.
All right, huge shout out to Chris for making that happen. The event was so much fun. Listeners and viewers, you got to check out the Dragon and Meeple if you're in Los Angeles. I know, I'm pretty sure Phil is going to try to do like a monthly event there. So there's like not a better place to play. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Tons of space.
The atmosphere was great.
Yeah, it seriously can't hype it enough. So definitely check that out, and we'll have a link to their Facebook page here in the show notes.
And then last but not least, I interviewed someone that some of you guys may know him. Some of you might not. He's kind of he's not necessarily a big deal in the Magic community.
Dare I say it, friend of the show?
Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, he recognized me and I was like, hey. So I spoke to Gavin a little bit about some things. Talked about a little bit about a product called Modern Horizons that he mentioned, right? He said there's going to be some cool Commander stuff in there, but yeah, I was in this interview and hear what he has to say. It's always great to speak with Gavin. This is Zack with the Brothers War, and I'm here with Gavin Verhey.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty well, man. How have you been?
Fantastic. I am making some Magic cards down here at MagicFest Los Angeles, and at a pretty sweet Commander event. Yeah, but it's been pretty cool here. There's a lot of people, and Phil's done a real good job of getting people here. It's been a lot of fun. Anything cool else been going on with you? You've been traveling anywhere cool? Yeah, I've been doing a lot of travel. Actually, my first weekend home all year will be March 29th. So wow. I have been on the go constantly, but fortunately I love traveling, and some of that's been for work, some of it's been for fun, and there's always a new adventure around the corner. And then at work, we've been announcing so much cool stuff. We've got even more cool stuff under the hat. We just announced Modern Horizons, which I don't know if you paid attention to or not, Zach, but it is really exciting. And as a Commander player, there's some pretty sweet stuff in that set for Commander as well. Of course, it prints cards straight into Modern, which is cool, great for that format. But there's also going to be some pretty hot cards for Commander in that set as well. I'm super excited about it. A set similar to that was one of my 2019 predictions. Like, I saw this random thing on
Reddit that was like a copy and paste from 4chan, and it was like, yeah, there's going to be a new modern set next year that's going to really change and bring some cards into modern that don't have to come through standard, which I know that's been kind of a thing before, like with the fetches and whatnot. So I'm really excited for that. So cool, man. Well, I'll let you get back to it. So thanks for talking with us.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. And everyone out there, thank you so much for playing Magic and enjoying Commander. And this year's got some pretty fun Commander stuff in store. The Commander decks this year are a blast. We've taken feedback from last year and made it even better this time around. Horizons is there. And there's a few things you don't even know about yet. So stay tuned, keep paying attention, and have fun. This is Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast, signing off.
Thanks, man. So after the interviews, I got one more game in with Kenji, a guy that we ended up hanging out with quite a bit for the rest of the weekend, and then two other gentlemen who were kind. They were together on the trip, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name, guys. I'm not great with names, so if that was you and you played me at the Dragon and Meeple, and I played a Niv Mizzet deck, give us a shout out, and we will shout you back out. So anyway, we were playing. We had the talk, and it was like, yeah, all of our decks are about like a 7-ish. I'm like, okay, I'm playing Niv Mizzet Perun. That deck doesn't always get off the ground, but man, this time it was like the Wright brothers' inaugural flight. It was just like, oh my gosh. So we're going, and I have Niv Mizzet out, and what's the card that I get to cast all the spells out of my graveyard?
Mizzix's Mastery?
Yeah, I believe it's Mizzix's Mastery. So I cast that, and I'm casting all this crazy stuff, and I keep drawing cards, and I have a Winds of Change in my hand. And I did the math. I know math, Zack, it's weird, but there was like 41 life left amongst them. So I'm trying to get 41 cards in my hand.
Yeah, actually, I remember the way that went down because you were like, hey, Ryan, what's 19 plus
yeah.
blah?
I mean, I knew math had to be done, but I got Ryan to do it. So, I mean, maybe I was the puppet master on that one. But I was trying to get 40-something cards in my hand so I could Winds of Change and draw that many cards while I'm in the process of doing all of this. And then one of the guy who was in the admitted Zack sweet spot, which is the caddy corner to me, right? Like
not directly in front of, not directly next to.
Caddy corner.
Yeah.
As my mom would say, caddy wampus to me. That's like the blind spot for me. I went to destroy one of his artifacts. He's like, which one? I was like, I don't care. Because one of the cards I was like, I don't care. And then it turns out he had the one I didn't destroy was a soul conduit. For those of you who don't know what that does, that switches your life with someone. The guy directly across from me who I was focusing down was at 3 life. He switched my life to 3 from like 30, like in the high 30s. And then Kenji casts Stinking Bogard and Hellkite and kills me.
Yeah, flashed it in after your life total became 3 and you were like all tapped out. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah, and like, you know what? If I'm going to lose, that is how I want to lose in spectacular fashion. These guys were high-fiving each other and just like, oh my gosh, we got him. And
the celebration was amazing. I was watching it, and it was just like
high five, high five, high five.
It was a very awesome moment. Just like teaming together to take down the big bad Zack.
Yep. So let's see, Friday. This is when we really started to meet other content creators. I mean, I've spoken with Phil quite a bit. We've interviewed him. He's been on the show. But we never met him in real life, and that was awesome. He picked us up from the airport. He let us stay with him in his home, which we really appreciate. I just can't say that enough. That staying with Phil really was part of what made the trip. So we met him and Shivam.
Yep.
They were real cool. Like we said before, we met the Commander's Brew guys. That was great. I met Josh Lee Kwai at the party, Dragon Meeple, and I would shake his hand. And I was like, hey, Josh. And I was about to say, my name's Zack. And he's like, oh, hey, Zack. I was like, what? Josh Lee Kwai knows my name? I was like, I have made it.
Indeed.
So why don't you tell us about some of the other awesome people we met, Ryan?
Yeah, man. This was great. So Vinny, who's been on game nights before, was there. That was awesome.
Amazing
Always
dude.
fun to hang out with Vinny. Honestly, the best part about Vinny is when you're playing games with him, like, he tries to make the game fun for everybody. Like, huge shout out to Vinny. So great to play with. Obviously, you mentioned Kenji, but like Nick and Kenji, the Seattle crew, they were there. I've met them in past trips. Actually, we talked about playing a cube with them in GP Las Vegas last year. So, basically, they're listeners, but they're also just awesome to hang out with. Got to finally meet Andy Bentley. Huge fan, and man, such a nice guy.
Yeah,
Seriously.
he really is a great guy. I get to play him on Sunday, and it was just great. Like, we kept like missing signals to get a game in, and finally got it in, and it was pretty good.
And also, and I'm not sure if this was Friday or not, but we also got to meet Olivia Gobert Hicks. She's a tremendous cosplayer. She does a lot of videos about metalworking and such. She makes really cool stuff. Actually, we'll put a segue here. And I think I might be skipping ahead a little bit, but
that's okay.
But yeah, she did an awesome cosplay of Taysa, right? And it looked amazing. But also we got to see her handiwork. She made a Vial Smasher like metal card for Josh that's got like gems in it, and the vial is a Sriracha bottle.
So good.
And like I got to hold this thing in my hands, and it's gorgeous. It was so cool. And also she's just fun to talk to, like super up all the time, like fun to be around. Great. So it was really awesome to meet her.
Yeah, I actually watched her on Twitch. She was making a coin, and they were doing some engraving on it, and that was just really fun to watch. That was today. So, moving on to Saturday.
Saturday.
So, in typical MF'in LA fashion, we started out with burritos. So, we knew the convention was going to be like, real busy, taken, and the Saturday morning. So Phil took us to a place called Frankensons. We mentioned it earlier. There's going to be some links in the show notes to videos that on YouTube that Phil took that were real good.
Yeah, and Siri always autocorrects that to Frankenstein's too, by the way. Just rough stuff.
And like that's what he kept saying, Frankenstein's. And I was like, what? And then he was like, and then I was like, Frankenstein. I was like, oh, I get it. But that place, man, I am glad that place is not in Austin. My paycheck would go there every single time.
R.I.P. wallet.
Right? I wouldn't even have a wallet. I just like hand over my credit card. There was just so much cool, like nerd stuff. There were like, pins. There were Funko Pops. There were
Lego
singles.
minifigs.
There was a pile of what are those action figure arms that Ryan got a picture of?
Yep.
We'll show that. Like it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of cool stuff to be had there, and also we got some games in. We got a game in.
That was really cool too, because they have like a little tiny space where you can play there, and there was a 4-way game with me, Zack, Phil, and a person named Quinn. And that was a really fun game. Yeah,
it was. Vornclex, man, it's always super fun.
I mean, so I did play turn 3 Braids Conjurer Adept, and Quinn was like, oh, cool, how about Vornclex? And everybody was like, groan. And then it came back to my turn. I was like, clever impersonator off of Braids into Vornclex? Like, now I have one too? Yeah, but so that game slowed down a little bit, but it did end up being like a really fun game.
It was. I enjoyed it, what I remember of it. We'll get into that a little bit more later. So after that, we showed up to the GP. We saw some of our friends, kind of hung out. And then after that, we went to dinner, Smashburger.
Yeah, that's right. And Vinny was there with us, along with Nick and Kenji.
Yep, and Phil. And there were 6 of us. Who else was there?
That's it, right? Me, you, Vinny, Phil, Nick, Kenji.
Yep, that's 6 people.
I was not on the microphone during that. I am sorry.
That's all good. But yeah, that was a great dinner. And then after that, we headed to a party hosted by the Masters of Modern podcast. That's hosted by Alex Kessler and Ben Bateman. And those guys were really cool. But Ryan, why don't you tell us about the game we played while we were there?
Yeah, so I wanted to say, first of all, like it was really cool to like have this venue to go to after the convention was done, and
an after party, if you will.
Yeah, it was, and it was like it was really cool, and and so they were hosting like this chaos draft, so you could get in and like draft with like all these really old cards, and a lot of folks like I think Shivam and Olivia were there doing that, and I don't know, it looked really fun, but we decided that we wanted to play more Commander because that's what we do. And Nick had this idea, like, well, it's a deck that was made by his friend Sean, who's at Swords to Plow on Twitter, I think. Did I get that right?
I believe so.
Yes, I did. All right. And it's this deck, and the idea is that it's kind of supposed to simulate a D&D like dungeon crawl. So it's Zedru the Great-Hearted. It's a Jeskai deck. And the idea is there's all these like kind of like wonky enchantments and artifacts that change the way the game works, like Knowledge Pool or Topsy-Turvy, which is an uncard.
Yeah, so there were a bunch of uncards in there, and I thought that was really cool.
Mind's Dilation was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea is he would get one of those into play and kind of change up the game, and then a boss monster would show up, and then if you killed the boss monster, he would try his best to get rid of the dungeon.
Right.
But it was still just a normal EDH game. So, I mean, it was a really, really fun experience.
Yeah.
We've got the list of the Zedric deck here in the show notes. I encourage all of you viewers and listeners to go check it out because it is really cool. And it's something that I think I'm pretty sure after that experience, I'm going to try to make a copy of it here.
That'd be great.
Because I would like to have that fun again. And it was really cool to like, we should also mention like, so during the game, any tokens, like Nick had a stack of like little token cards.
Yep.
And any tokens that were made, you drew on it with a Sharpie and like, do you have one?
I'm looking for one. Keep talking.
Oh, okay. I'll keep talking. But yeah, so it was really cool. And then like at one point, some folks came up to watch us play and we got audience participation. We're like, hey, here, I need a goblin token. Can you draw me one? It was really neat.
This is a fairy rogue token that went with my bitter blossom that I was playing. We made some infect tokens. I gave mine to Sean as a gift. I told him I made it for him, and he put it in his wallet. So I hope he cherishes that forever. He's probably framed it already with a picture of me.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would do for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, how many tokens do you have put in your shrine to me?
Oh, 7 or 8 at least.
Word.
And that's just from this weekend.
Right. How many locks of my hair do you have?
Not enough. Clearly
not enough.
Yeah, so I mean that was the end of Saturday, right?
Yep, that was it on Saturday. So Sunday, again, burritos from the place by Phil's house. Always good. Need some more.
What was it? Was it the manchaca burrito, which was like beef with like eggs and like vegetables and stuff?
I think that's what we got on Saturday. On Sunday, I think we just got regular like egg and like sausage and bacon ones.
I mean, I did try 3 different burritos on 3 different days. I mean, I wasn't going to just keep sending it back. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, every one was awesome.
It was. So we started out our day Sunday playing a game of EDH with Josh LeQuai. He was like, hey, Zack and Ryan, get on this game. And I'm like, you still know my name?
It was really awesome. Seriously.
Yeah, it was. He was a lot of fun to play with. And it was us, Josh, and then Ian and Levi. So it was a pretty fun game. I don't remember who. Did you win?
No, I think Ian ended up winning.
That's right.
With his, I forget the name of the card. It's the mono red copies activated abilities from artifacts. Is Kuldotha. Anyway,
we'll put the picture up after we find it on the video.
Yeah, and podcast listeners, audio listeners only. Sorry, but yeah, Josh was playing his Hapatra deck, which was featured on an episode of Game Night, so that was really cool to get to play against that.
Yep.
I was playing my Giant Ballard deck.
I was playing my Saheeli deck, my Silly Artifacts deck,
and Levi was playing this crazy Grothama deck that was just bonkers. Like it was mono green and just like, oh look, this Mosswort Troll or whatever. Oh man, so bad with names. 25-25, attack the Grothama, draw 25 cards. Like it was crazy.
It was. And like the thing was there was the guy. So I'm sitting here, Ryan's sitting here. Josh is sitting here, and then either Ian or Levi was like right here. This is a 5-player game, and then next over to him is the other Ian or Levi. I'm not sure which one was where, but it was like this guy's got the sweet spot on me, and this guy's got the super sweet spot on me. I'm like, what are you guys doing over there? But I got
like flying a stealth plane or something,
right?
Like just under the radar completely.
Yeah. I should have got like a drone. It's like, what are you guys doing? But I got stuck on 2 lands. But it was a fun game regardless. I really enjoyed the company there more than anything.
Yeah, there was a sweet moment where we were like, oh no, the thing's indestructible, and or no, it was something that like whenever it takes damage, it gets regenerated, and like Josh had got damage on it, and then I used Jaya's middle discard ability to make it not be able to regenerate. So there was like a really cool team up moment, and I honestly, it was just really fun to play, and it was really cool to like people came up to Josh like during the game and like, got him to sign stuff, and it was like, I don't know, it was a really fun experience.
I got him to sign my Vidalcan Orrery.
Indeed,
that's one of his favorite cards. I hear. So after that, we were hanging out with Nick and Kenji again, and they were like over like the loudspeaker. Cassius Marsh is here. Come say hi. He'll give you some packs. And I was like, cool, let's go meet this guy. So like we walked over to kind of where he was, and he handed us some packs, and we talked to him, and he was a really nice guy. He was so nice.
Yeah. Oh man. And like just like totally knowledgeable, and like I mean, I kind of had like a little bit of a fanboy moment.
I did too. Like later he was coming around giving out packs again while I was playing a game. And I had him sign my playmat, and I was like, hey man, is it cool if I take a picture with you? He's like, sure. So like I took a picture with him, and I posted it on Twitter, and tagged him and had it all. And then I was looking on Twitter later, and I saw Nick was like, oh, it's my boy Zack, posing awesome as usual. And I looked at what he was replying. I thought he was replying to my tweet. Turns out Cassius had taken my picture and put out a tweet with the picture of me in it to his massive followers. So like this guy's like a NFL football player. Now like all these football players are like, who's this short Asian guy?
Actually, the link to the tweet is here in the show notes.
And you know what's nuts? I was like talking about this to a friend of mine at work today, and he was like, what team does he play for? And I was looking it up, and it was like, I'm almost 10 years older than that guy, and he's like twice the size of me. But that was pretty cool. And then what was the other thing that you saw?
All right. Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm going to talk about this game that I got to play with. It was Vinny again. So that was great. Always fun to play with Vinny. I got to play with Craig Blanchett, who, he's been on game nights.
Infect for life.
Yeah. Mr. Infect, as it were. And he was playing this sweet, like, OG Nicol Bolas deck that was, like, totally blinged out. It was awesome. And Terry Robertson, right? So there's a lot of the Command Zone crew there. A lot of, like, they all do, not edits and stuff. So that was, like, really fun. And it was just really cool because Craig and I had been talking on Twitter, and he invited me to come out to Gen Con, and I wasn't able to make it. So it was fun to finally actually get to play a game with him first time. But it was during this game that a really like special moment happened. So Dana Fisher was there at MagicFest Los Angeles, and she was playing in the main event, and she made day 2, right? So congratulations, Dana, by the way. That is so awesome.
That's amazing.
Huge. She's actually signed my play mat right here.
Nice.
That was in, I think it was Seattle. It might have been Las Vegas, but she's super cool. She's always got like the Nissa cosplay going on. And so she was like walking around, and she like really wanted to meet Cassius. And then like it happened like right next to our table, like during that game. And like she stuck her hand out, and he shook her hand. And it was just like the sweetest moment, because like Cassius just got like the biggest smile on his face. And, they were talking, and it was just like we all kind of like paused the game to like watch it.
Yeah,
it was.
I was pretty close when we did too.
It was really, really cool. So that's the kind of special thing that can happen at a Magic Fest.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, okay. So, did I say Dana's the youngest person ever to make day 2?
I think so, but
I'll say it again.
Yeah,
it's it's
amazing. Yeah, it is.
Good job, Dana. Seriously.
Yep, for reals. So let's see. What did we do after that? We looked at vendors. I don't know about you, but like one of my favorite things at like conventions is just look at the vendors. Like sometimes you just find like weird stuff that don't see anywhere else, right?
Or sometimes you can find good deals too.
Yeah, that too. I found a pretty good deal on that foil Urtai. We got that signed.
I got a foil Damnation, right? Actually, I got it right here.
Yep.
So that was pretty sweet.
You also got a foil Electro D.
Yeah, I got a foil and a regular Electro Dominance for like super cheap, so that was awesome.
Yep. And then later during the day, Ryan thinks it's Matt's dumb. I don't care. I like it. There were several GPs that had it, and then apparently Gen Con had it, but it's the black. It's just like I've got it right here.
Yeah, I was going to say, not only do the GPs have it, this video has it.
Yeah, this video has it, right? It's a Gen Con, and it's got the Black Lotus, and it says Gen Con, and it's just like, it's real clean, and I don't know, I just really like the clean design of it, and I'll definitely throw up a picture on there for you to see it in the video, but it's awesome, and I'll put a link in the show notes about it too, where you can see one, but I was just, oh my gosh, because I've been looking for one for so long, and they're always like so expensive on eBay. Like I've seen them go for ridiculous amounts. So I was super happy with that. But
all right, so now we have to move into probably my favorite moment of the weekend.
Likewise.
Yeah, so we were just kind of like milling about.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, so I was actually waiting to get a card signed, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, are you Zack Taylor from Brothers War?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I am." But he's like, "Oh man," he's like, "We listen to your podcast," and this guy's got his whole family with him, and they're all sitting there, and you know, I love kids. Like I'm shaking their hands. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Zack. It's nice to meet you." And he's like, "Hey man, can you like sign some cards for me?" So I signed some land. He asked me to sign some lands for him, a mountain, because you know we've got the fire logo, and it's the Brothers War, and it was just so humbling because he's like telling us, he's like, "Look, this is Zack. Like, you guys listen to him with me on these podcasts, and it just blows my mind." And I'm like, "Hey, man, like, Ryan's roaming about here too, and you know, I'm sure he would. I know he would love to talk to you." So a little bit later on, we're outside of kind of the hall.
This was the milling about I was talking about.
now to the milling about, Ryan.
Yeah, so we ended up getting to see Philip and his whole family, and oh man, what a beautiful family.
Yeah.
Seriously. And so cute. And we got to talk to the kids, and the Commander's Brew guys were there too.
Yep.
And it just, Philip said, like, you know, this is my hashtag MTG Dad moment here, like at the convention with my family. And, you know, my heart kind of grew 3 sizes right there. It was really special. And I'm even now, like, I'm kind of like getting a little misty. Like, it was really, really awesome.
That was literally like the best part of the GP. And we have some audio from a little interview we did with him. What's up? This is Zack with Brothers War Podcast, and I'm here with...
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ryan.
And we're here with Philip.
How you doing, Philip?
Doing well, Philip. Just since you're doing the hashtag MTG Dad thing with your kids, did you have a good time today?
Oh, definitely. You guys have a good time?
Yeah!
What all did y'all do?
I didn't play in any events, but I got lots of free stuff, and I spent my tickets on a pack.
That's awesome. Do you get anything good in your pack?
My tickets on a pack. Not really.
Not really? Oh, that happens sometimes.
Because I only got one ticket. Jojo gave me 2 commanders. He gave me a Yargle and some other commanders. Black commanders. I'll give it.
Do you guys actually play Commander?
I played at home. I never get to play Commander.
Oh, you never get to?
You will, I'm
Oh,
sure.
well, we'll fix that soon, I'm sure.
She just started her first deck. She has a Yargle deck.
That's awesome.
And the boys and I, we've been playing for a while. I slowed down a little bit, you know how we all do, start to grow up.
Yeah.
The oldest one found my cards one day. Hey, Dad, what's this? Oh, let me show you.
Right.
You know, taught him how to play. I'm a gruel guy, green and red all the time.
Okay.
So he went through all my cards and built a blue-black control.
Yeah.
And
I get
said,
behind that.
Hey, Dad, let's play one day. And counter this, discard that, show me your hand, you can't have that no more. Like, where did this come from?
Right?
Yeah.
So your name's Anakin, right?
Yes.
So who'd you say wins more, you or your dad?
Probably him.
Probably him?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how long that goes, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was awesome. Thanks for talking with us, and I'm glad y'all had a good time. Hopefully we'll see you in Vegas.
Yes, GP Vegas. The boys and I make it every year to GP Vegas.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
It used to be always on his birthday, but they moved it to August this year.
Right.
So it was always his birthday trip.
Awesome.
To
Well,
GP Vegas.
You picked to do that for your birthday? That's so awesome.
that is pretty sweet.
Can I go to GP to spend my birthday money on a bunch of cards every time?
Yeah.
You know what? I still do that.
Well, it was awesome to meet you guys. Thanks for talking to us. Can't wait to see you again. Maybe we can get some games in.
Yes.
Yeah, in Vegas,
definitely.
we have to play.
Yeah, for sure.
We have to.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the clip of my favorite moment from the GP. And huge shout out to Philip and his family. It was amazing interaction. And it's why we do this. So
Right.
Thank you so much for doing that. And the last thing we did on Sunday was go to Denny's, which apparently we are contractually obligated to do at any Magic Fest, right?
That's what Phil told me.
Yeah. Okay. So we went to Denny's and it was really cool. It was after everything was said and done. Phil was there. I was there. Zach was there. Andy and Sean, Sarah, and his wife was there. And Andy Bentley, right?
Yep.
And it was a crew having a meal, right? And it was great.
Yeah, it was kind of like the wrap up to the whole thing. There'll be a link to this in the show notes, but Phil kind of did a video where each of us was talking about like the best things that happened to us and our favorite things about it. And it was just like, it felt like it was a nice closure to the weekend, I felt like. And it was just good. It was good times.
And I got to get me some pancakes, which was great.
Yeah, I had some pancakes.
Like late night breakfast food is so good. I don't know why, but it is.
I mean, breakfast food in general is just so good. That's why I love that McDonald's lets you get the breakfast food all day long now. So that was pretty cool. I actually talked to another guy who was just kind of randomly there.
He was also contractually obligated to be at the Denny's, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. And he was by himself and he was doing some stuff. And I was talking to him about Commander a little bit. And he had played in a modern event. And I gave him one of our cards. And that dude seemed pretty cool. But yeah, it was a good time. And like I said, it was a great way to kind of cap off the weekend. That was the last time we saw everybody but Phil, since we were staying at Phil's house.
Yeah, and that was the best of times, but whenever there's the best of times, there's also the worst of times.
Yep.
So we've got a couple of lowlights that we're going to target here, mostly for amusement, but also
a little bit serious.
Yeah.
So, the one thing that I learned is on Saturday, do not wear flip-flops. I was like, oh, it'll be okay. I wear flip-flops all the time. It's not. I'm like, it's like shin splints, and it's just like, I'm like, Ryan, carry me. And Ryan's like, no.
I told you not to wear them.
You did, and I did it anyway. So that was subpar. Another thing is I found out when I'm sleep deprived, I start to fall asleep while playing games. So we were playing that game at Frank and Sons. And who was the other guy we were playing?
Quinn.
Quinn's got his warning clocks out. All of a sudden he's attacking me for a bunch. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to deal with this? I've got these Thopters. And for some reason I get real like, okay, I've got to block these two.
He cast Triumph of the Horde, which makes his team bigger and gives them all Infect and Trample.
And I heard him say that. And I was like, okay, I got this. I was like, I'm going to block these two guys. And then before damage, I'm going to sacrifice these two Thopters to draw a card. And Phil's like, what are you doing? And I was like, look, man, I just need to draw this card. And then he's like, he's going to kill you. And I was like, he doesn't have, like, I was pretty close to 40. I was like, he doesn't have that much damage on me. And he was like, he has Infect. And I was like, well, let me draw my card. And I was like, okay, I lose. So falling asleep is subpar. Also, something that was subpar, Sean and Andy came, and you know what? They didn't bring the rejected chocolates from Butler's wife. I asked them about it, and they were just like, we forgot. And I was like, not only is your list of Canadian snacks subpar, the one thing that we wanted from that list, you just didn't bring.
Just Just a total disappointment.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not mad, guys. I'm disappointed. But
Brew, I am disappointed.
Right? Hashtag Brew, I'm disappointed. That's a new one. But on a more serious note, people have talked about this a lot. Saturday, we didn't get there till late, but the Brews guys, and they didn't disappoint in this. They got there pretty early, and let's say the main event's going on. There's a lot of side events firing, and like people have been saying, there just was not a place for casual DH players or just casual players in general to play. They were saying they would try to sit down somewhere, and a judge would move them so that an event could fire. And no bad feelings towards the judges. They're doing their jobs. They have a job they have to do, and they were doing it. But it still feels bad. And what ended up happening was there was a pretty big dining area, cafeteria.
In the cafeteria. Yeah.
And they commandeered that for play. And when we got there, that had already happened. And there were I don't know how many. There were countless games going on. And then Ryan and I also saw several people kind of just playing on, circled up on the floor playing.
Yeah, and actually that was when I got to meet DJ from Jumbo Commander. And I got to have him sign my playmat too in that space.
Nice. I didn't see him over there. I met him on Friday and shook his hand, but I didn't see him again the whole weekend. But I don't know, it's something that we definitely are trying to bring attention to, because if these are going to be Magic festivals, then I feel like they need to engage all aspects of Magic, including casual players, right? Even if they have to do a thing where it's it's a space thing, right? And I get that. And if they were like, well, Zach, you've got to pay $10 for a day for 3 days, or $25 for all 3 days to have a dedicated space to play, I would pay that.
Yeah, right. And I'm going to jump in here. So, yeah. I mean, we understand that it's a business.
Absolutely.
Right? We understand that money needs to be made and stuff. And
for sure.
And actually, I think that this is a missed opportunity, right?
Yep.
I think that a lot of us casual Commander players would absolutely fork over the money to play. Not only that, but we showed you, right? We spend money, and
for sure,
and not small amounts of money either, right?
Yeah.
And I know that other people bought cards too, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're there to enjoy and partake and be part of the festival, and there should be a place for this to happen.
Absolutely. And in terms of the commerce bit, I've said it before, I feel like that Commander is starting to really drive the secondary market on cards. So these vendors come with all these foiled out, blinged out cards, and these are cards that Commander players buy.
Right? Like foil Urtai the Corrupted, right? I mean, that's definitely for Commander.
Absolutely. And the vendors know it. That's why they bring some of this stuff, I think, because that's who's about, your legacy players or your vintage players and especially your EDH player or Commander players. And, I think that really everyone from a financial standpoint can profit off of this. It's a win-win for everyone. Commander type players have a place to play. More people will come to the event. More people will be spending money with the vendors. It's just a win-win, and we think it's really a missed opportunity.
Yeah, so let's sum it up like this. There definitely should be a place for casual people to play, and it should be a conversation.
Yep.
Right. So if the Channel Fireball people want to reach out, I'd be happy to chat with them.
Same.
Or whatever. But there should be some sort of conversation about what kind of casual play area can exist and how to monetize it and all that fun stuff. But that's enough harping on the bad stuff. So let's just tie it all up and wrap a little bow on it. The Magic Fest was great, right? I had a blast.
Same.
I met so many people.
Yep.
I played so many games. It was so fun. I cannot recommend it enough. Listeners, viewers, if you are on the fence, you should definitely go.
Absolutely.
And when you go, you can see us there. That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be fun for everyone. And I'll be honest, I don't usually travel a lot. I'm not into travel so much. And I was a little hesitant to go on this trip, but now I'm just it was absolutely worth it for more reasons than I can count. It was great. I I made a special playmat that I'll show you guys now that everyone signed. This is official Brothers War merchandise. You can see my face over it. I'll put some pictures on there, but I got a lot of cool people to sign it, and this playmat's going to be a treasured memory for me. It's my first GP that I've gone to in since I've come back, and it was great. I had a lot of fun, and I think if you go, you will too.
All right. So with all that being said, if you wanted to contact us and tell us what you thought about this video or about anything in general, you can check us out at brotherswarcast.com. We're on YouTube, on youtube.com/c/brotherswarpodcast.
But if you're watching this video, you know that already.
Oh, right. Good call. Yeah.
Got there. So if you want to hit us up on Facebook, where I hang out and talk to the folks, we're on facebook.com/group/brotherswarcast. You can email us directly at mail@brotherswarcast.com. Ryan, where can they find you on Twitter?
Well, they can find us at Brothers Warcast, and individually on Twitter, I'm at Green Geek.
And I'm super active on Twitter at Z4CK38. So thanks everybody for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope that maybe next time we go to a GP, we can see you there.
Indeed. Yep. So yeah, until next time, this is Ryan saying Geek.
Out.